Hi guys, I'm Shmee. We're at the Morgan Motor Cars factory where today I'm picking up the new Morgan Shmee Wheeler. We're going to be taking many looks at this car, so make sure you're subscribed to see all of the videos, but for now we're going to head on in and take a look around the factory. This is the factory road, if you will. All of the cars start their build process up at the top up here, and they make their way down, but we're going to kick off first going into the showroom here and taking a quick look at what's in here. This room was the very original Morgan factory, over 105 years old. You can see some of the older cars, the very first Aero 8, some of the race cars. This is where the original three-wheelers were built, which is all quite cool. These things look absolutely awesome. But also here there's a modern three-wheeler showing just how bespoke the cars can go. This is really cool to see. Unique paint jobs, colours, designs, all the options available. Look at those indicators. We're going to go take a look at the production line, so let's head on down. Now we're in the chassis workshop. Unfortunately it's lunchtime, so it's actually pretty quiet and peaceful. We can take a look around. It's split into two parts. At this end you've got the newer aluminium bodies and chassis being built up, and at the other end the more traditional cars, so we'll take a look at that too. It's cool to see they're all sort of built up in situ by one man into a rolling chassis. Also just have a quick look here. Every car has one of these build books, so it literally specs out the car and all the details, and it's all signed off and all the everything's done. Made sure they're all correct. Cars obviously going around the world, 60 dealers around the world. Over here though, the more traditional cars, they are built up literally in one place by a single man from the very, very basics into a rolling car. So there are a couple of different spots. All of the cars hand worked on, engines, exhausts, all the way through to the wheels going on in here. And then quite literally the rolling car as you see here. See all of the parts ready, engines, basic chassis frames, all the different components in the store, if you will, ready to go. Now because we're on a hill, this is where it gets a little bit fun. Morgan quite literally has the cars ready to roll on down into the next workshop. This is the wood shop where quite literally things start taking shape. So from the very basic, stage number one, you have the very first pieces going down onto the table, which will be built out. The table obviously made exactly precisely to measure, laser laid out, make sure everything goes on. You've got three-wheelers starting to have their frames built down there. Every car is built in here as well by one man, putting all of the pieces together, measuring it out precisely, making sure it's all made correctly from the ash wood. This is cool though. Those arch shapes with the curve, very traditional Morgan, are built here on this 60-year-old frame. Absolutely fantastic. The techniques have changed slightly. There's new glue used. It's 3 layers of wood, so it can be cut down to shape. But it used to take 6 hours to make the shape. Now it takes 45 minutes. Things change, and here we've got a finished one actually. Very cool. And then yeah, so every car is made on that station and built up. And because Morgan have such high quality level of wood creation, you know, how they can build everything in-house. They go as far as building screens for the visitor centre and everything. It's all made right here. From the wood shop, the ash frames come up to the sheet metal workshop where the bits of aluminium start getting applied. Once again though, it's every frame, one man, one station. They're built up, but we can look at a couple of different stations to see the various stages, to see the metal being applied to the car and sort of how it naturally holds around the frame. And from here, each body will be taken up into the next room where we will be met with the rolling chassis we saw earlier. So we're sort of heading back up the hill slightly here, but you'll see the chassis have rolled down the hill we mentioned. They've come into this stage, the traditional cars, and this is where the bodies meet the chassis and they start being put together with the superformed wings and the metal and wooden frames on top. starting to take the shape of a car, if you will. So this is the traditional side. The aluminium cars have gone the opposite way. They've come in from the other side, having been taken out before. It's up there and brought back round into this room. So they sort of reverse down, but you can see them in different stages. They're rolling on wheels, factory wheels, of course, to preserve the customers' private wheels. But those cars have their bodies made elsewhere. The traditional cars roll along this part of the production, and as you can see at each stage, new bits are added, and they're sort of built up slightly, which is cool. Like I said, it's lunchtime, so fortunately we're able to have a close look around everything. But now this is something really cool. The bonnets for the cars are literally hand bashed into shape, the way they always have been. One man works on each one, and then they're taken over and put onto the cars. Tradition at its best. It's so cool having a close look around somewhere like this, seeing sort of everything being done how it always has been. Lightweight being key, and you can see it in the cars. So let's head on. Coming down the hill then, next up we head into the paint shop. Now all of the bodies have been lined up and created, obviously, and made sure that they 100% fit together very neatly. But next up they actually have to be slightly stripped down again, ready for painting, and taped up of course. So here the pre-preparation stages for the painting. You can see all of the wings are taken off, maybe one there that's being reworked on, maybe a damaged car or something, but you see all the parts as they head through and they're slightly taken apart. We'll just skip across to the next side, because from here they go out to the end and then they come back along this road from the end back to here and into the trim shop. In the trim shop you just have the traditional cars, because the more modern cars are completed elsewhere. They take longer to be worked on, so rather than holding back the entire line, these cars are worked on in here. Take a look at all of them. At this early stage you can see there's not very much going into the cars. It's the very first parts of the leather. You can see here in this grey and red leather car, first bits going on around the door frames, the top of the dash, the rear arches. This car's an interesting one, actually, bright orange. I think Morgan offer 40,000 different colours you can have on your car, and it's quite literally anything you want, and this is an example of that. So you've got the orange car with the black and orange piped floor mats. As we come up the line though, we'll be able to take a look at things progressing. You can see here the door cards have gone in, the pockets, central tunnel, windscreens start getting added and windows. Each car just progresses along the line. We've got some floor mats in here, built up as they go, not holding each other back. Seats being prepared coming in. You get sort of towards a completed car, and the roofs go on, of course. I should have mentioned that. Systems and mechanisms get put in place, and then they head round the corner. And you come round into the final finish bays. This is where the cars meet up with their wings. You can see the red wings there ready and prepared for this next car to roll in. They also have the bonnets added, the dashboards are prepared and ready to be fitted to the car, all the final trimmings and pieces and lights, and the exhaust fans and the whole lot ready to be put together. They'll leave this section in a state where the cars can literally be driven out ready for testing. So everything is basically put on to make the rolling car. And from here obviously they'll go to PDI, so we'll go have a quick look at what happens next in the final polishing. But this is where all the bits of car are put together in each of the bays and ready to be rolling out. So the back end of the paint shop, you can see the bonnets down the other end and the wings here being prepared for the cars, but we'll just head into the three-wheeler workshop where you can see some of the bonnets in their early stages. This is where they then get worked on, being prepared, and here we've got one of Brooklyn's cars. It's a full chrome polished shell. It takes 3 full days to work on that. Nice mirrored reflection too. And this is quite cool. This was at Geneva earlier this year, the half car, if you will. See the inside, see how it all works. Because we've seen more than that of the insides. And then over here on these shelves, you have the completed body shells for the three-wheelers. They can actually be lifted up by two men, so they go on the shelves and then they're taken over from here in to meet with the chassis, which is stored over there, taken to the other side. We're in the Morgan three-wheeler workshop. As you can see, the chassis arrive in here and each car is built up as before in one single position. They actually go from that original chassis elsewhere due to the high demand on the three-wheeler. They go out of the factory and they come back like this with the engine already fitted. They've sold 1,200 of these in 3 years, so demand exceeded supply, and as such the car comes back like this before it's worked on. You then have the rear wheel added. Obviously, as you get further through, you have the body shell placed onto the chassis. Eventually it's lowered down and ready to roll out from here for PDI. So it all happens right in here. Remember, this thing's just over 500 kilos. And they roll out from here, down the hill again, and continue on their way. Back from being built up, the three-wheelers come back into here, where they are then finished and ready for PDI. So you see quite a few here coming through. The three-wheelers proving very, very popular. Lots of the cars been done. I like this in blue, that's really cool. All sorts of bits being done to them before they also go to the PDI section. In the PDI workshop, and every car has a bay, a 28 light bay, where they are basically detailed, triple stage, cut down and perfected, and all the final touches for the cars put together and ready and completed before they roll out. I hope you enjoyed that look around the Morgan factory, something totally different to what you see elsewhere, and so cool to see that sort of one man can work all the way through a car and everything that goes into it, from the wood ash frame, especially with the three-wheeler, up to seeing this car right here, the Morgan Shmee Wheeler, the reason we're up here today. So it's going straight from here to Dub Customs. We're going to wrap it in the same 3M Shmee blue vinyl as the McLaren that you've probably seen, so that's all pretty exciting. Got lots of fun things planned and adventures with this car from here, so make sure you're subscribed to see it all. I promise you we're in for a lot of fun with a car that, quite frankly, is absolutely awesome to play around with and drive. So I'm pretty excited. Good day up here. Make sure you check it all out. But that's it for right now. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers. And now we have the Morgan Shmee Wheeler. So loads of you did actually guess it right.
Are you ready to start your Morgan three-wheeler adventure?
Yes, definitely, most certainly.
Let's go through the handover.
We've done it again. The Morgan Shmee Wheeler three-wheeler is done and ready.